Hi, my name is ElijahM23. I'm from Batesville, Arkansas, North Heights Church of Christ, and my person today is Rehoboam. So I'm going to start off with a question. What do you do when you have a big decision to make? Like whenever you're moving to a new town or house or whatever, or you've got some big important place to go to. Well, there's a king in the Bible who reminds me of a cool movie and relates to the question. A long, long time ago in a land far, far away, the Republic has all gathered in Shechem to crown Rehoboam the new king. Word reaches Jeroboam in the harsh desert land of Egypt, and is in a group to lighten the workload that Rehoboam's father Solomon put on them. Rehoboam goes to his wise men for advice for what he should do. They give him advice, but Rehoboam abandons it. Rehoboam goes to his friends and went with their advice. Rehoboam approached the group and said he will be worse than his father in punishment, and with that, all of Israel except for Judah left with Jeroboam. King Rehoboam tried to bring them back by sending out his taskmaster, but Israel just stoned him. Rehoboam hopped in his pod chariot and fled off to Jerusalem. So clearly Rehoboam made a big mistake. I mean, he lost the entire kingdom. So what did he do wrong? Was it that he went to his wise men? No, going to people wiser than he was wise in itself. The problem was that he didn't go to God first. He didn't even consult God at all. Like, the name isn't even in chapter 10. But Rehoboam's friends told him to be harsher on the people because that's what they thought was right. They were raised in the same religion, and Rehoboam was raised in a bad situation with all of Solomon's wives. That's why he threw aside the advice the elders gave him. He thought that he knew better than those who were older and wiser than him. You know, we can be kind of like that too sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. We'll say a prayer to God, like the one who made time and is older than anything, and ask for a bigger paycheck, because as a preacher, they pay you in 10% off the offering coupons. But you don't understand God. I need a bigger paycheck, even though he doesn't give it to you. I need money to do this and do this. I need money to survive. But he tells you to stay at the same job. So you just abandon God's advice and go to your friends, the friends you've known for a while and you grew up with on the same street. And they say, yeah, there's a nice job offering or opening like down the street, down at that store or whatever. But you go down there and you interview and you get the job. But it turns out to be even worse than what you had. It pays less, it's a stupid job, and it makes you angry all the time. Well, look at 2 Chronicles 10:16 through 17. And when all Israel saw that the king did not listen to them, the people answered the king, "What portion have we in David? We have no inheritance in the son of Jesse. Each of you to your tents, O Israel. Look now to your own house, David." So all Israel went to their tents. But Rehoboam reigned over the people of Israel who lived in the cities of Judah. Rehoboam ended up with less than what he had. And just like in both stories, we'll call the guy in that story Phil. If Phil and Rehoboam had listened to the person or people that were wiser than them, then they would have just been so much better off. They would have had what they wanted. They would have been good. Life would have been good for them. But when we stop seeking the Lord, when we go to ball games instead of church or youth trips, when we go behind our parents' back to do something our friends say is cool and awesome and yeah, it's so much fun, that kind of reminds me of another story. Even like it's another Star Wars one. Anakin was a Jedi. He was under the attention of the council. They told him to spy on Palpatine, and Palpatine was his friend, and he didn't even want to. They were really close. So one day, Anakin and Palpatine were at a show together, just out in the theater, and they were talking. But Palpatine asked him a question. "Hey, have you been having nightmares about your wife dying recently?" And Anakin said, "Yeah." And then Palpatine said, "Well, have you heard of the tragic tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise. And he told them the whole story about how that guy learned how to stop people from dying. And that hooked Anakin. He was like, really? Well, how do you do it? And that, it always is with a question. It gets us interested. Anakin listened to one of his friends, and it was his downfall. He abandoned the advice of the council and did just the opposite, just like Rehoboam. You know, I kind of think of Rehoboam as the Darth Vader of the kings. He was given good wisdom, ignored it, and was corrupted by his friends. There's also one king I know of who, instead of taking bad advice, he ignored it and deflected it. Luke 4:1-13 is when Jesus is just baptized,